Welcome back to On the Pitch, Mount Sac Media's podcast about all sports. I'm here with
Nathan Scott Torres,
Jason Milanes,
Eric Tadeo.
And I'm Alex Topete, and let's dive right into it. First topic today, we're going to talk about some Mount Sac football.
Yeah, this is a Mount Sac podcast, so we should talk about Mount Sac football. Just want to talk about the upcoming game that they have against El Camino College. Do you guys want to weigh in on anything? I know that I'm excited to see Rashad White. He's been lighting it up this season, already committed to UCLA. And when the starting quarterback was out for Mount Sac, he pretty much carried the team.
Rashad White, he's a beast. I went to a couple of games. He runs with a tenacity. Beast mode number 2 right there.
and I believe he just committed to UCLA. Am I right? Right.
Yes.
He did.
That's exciting. You know, that's a big team to join right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they could probably use all the help they can get. I don't think they've been like up in the rankings for a while. It's like a couple of years.
Yeah, but in any Division I school is just a great accomplishment to get accepted to on a scholarship.
Yeah, so congratulations to him. Do you guys see him probably being the rushing, like the workload against El Camino?
Yeah, definitely. When Zach Rangel was out with that concussion, they just handed the ball off to Rashad all the time. Dylan Flanagan did a really good job as a backup quarterback. He did what he was supposed to do. He won one game. He should have won the other game, if not for a crazy ending against Saddleback.
Saddleback.
Yeah.
At Covina District Field.
Yeah, but he's been that game especially. Rashad went off. I think he went for over 200 yards, scored maybe 2 touchdowns if I'm correct, and the defense played really well too. It's just at the end it was a crazy play, and they ended up getting the loss on that play.
Yeah, I think on the defensive side of the ball, we should definitely keep an eye out for Tyron Brooks. He's been a show-out player on our defense, the middle linebacker. We'll see how his play goes moving forward.
Yeah, he leads the team in tackles in 29. He has a sack already. The defense is pretty good, honestly, from the games I've seen. I think they've only allowed 16.8 points per game. They've allowed 196.3 passing yards, and they've allowed 92.5 rush yards per game for a total of 288 total yards allowed per game.
And they've got an overall record of 4-2 right now. At home they're 1-2. Away they are 3-0. I believe is this next game at El Camino?
Yes.
So I mean, looking at that record, 3-0 away, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah, and those 2 losses have been close. That last, the first loss, you were at, Alex. They lost on a missed field goal, right?
To Chafee, yeah, 24-22.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to the El Camino game. I mean, I wish I could go. I mean, that is my birthday. They play at 1 p.m., but I've already got like something planned around that time. So
Yeah, I expect them to win the rest of their games. Honestly, they've shown to be a good team, and they're really gritty. They come back. They've been in close games, and I think they just know how to win.
yeah.
Yeah, getting wins on the road is a big part of being a solid football team, and it looks like they can get it done.
Yeah, it seems like if you're going to be successful on away games, that means you can just handle all that pressure that comes along with it. So
Another player I want to shout out is Schofield. He's a receiver, number 22. He is elusive, man. He reminds me of like Darren Sproles.
ooh,
Yeah, he scored that last touchdown that they scored against Saddleback. When you thought that was going to be the game-winning touchdown, he is fast. He returns the kicks. They throw him a lot of short passes, and he just makes something out of nothing.
there you go. All right. Well, we look forward to some Mount Sac, hopefully a dub.
Also, just want to point out Rashad White, 106 rushes, 692 yards, 115.3 yards per game, and 4 touchdowns.
Oof.
What a beast.
Yeah. Keep it up, man.
Yeah, excited to see him at UCLA.
Yeah, definitely. Now that's always like for me, like when I have like a NFL star that comes from my high school or maybe even this school, like I always keep an eye out for them. Like I've always like kept an eye on like Delaney Walker, you know, and into
Antonio
their,
Pierce won a Super Bowl.
Yep, exactly, with the Giants, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's always fun, you know, if you have that little connection with schools and just even seeing how they progress. So
Especially since he's in my class, we could be like, oh, I remember that guy who was in my class when I was in college.
yeah, that's even more memorable right there.
Definitely.
I'll always remember when future UCLA running back Rashad White asked me, what page were we on?
Life-changing moment.
Life-changing.
You guys want to move on to the professional football?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I mean, what should we really talk about? There's a lot of topics to talk about.
I think we should start with tonight's game. Your Washington Redskins are taking on
The Minnesota
Minnesota Vikings, and it's a role of reverse quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's Case Keenum is starting for the Redskins, and Kirk Cousins is starting for the Vikings.
He's the new man on the Minnesota Vikings.
And the last time those two teams faced off against each other, the two quarterbacks were on opposite starting teams.
They were.
They were.
Interesting.
And the Redskins, I believe, are 3-1 against the Vikings in the past times that they've played them. One time, I mean, I know it's been a while since RG3 was here, but one memorable highlight I can think about is when RG3 had that 76-yard run against the Vikings across the sideline for the touchdown. Like, I didn't get to watch that game at that time, but when I came home, I watched the recording, and it's just such a memorable time. So that's like today, thinking that about this game, it makes me think about the past a little bit. But hopefully we can win because
Kirk Cousins has been on fire lately ever since he apologized to Adam Thielen. He's been lighting it up. I think he's had back-to-back 4-touchdown games.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
He actually has the best passer rating in the NFL right now.
Wow.
And he's going to be missing Adam Thielen tonight. So Adam Thielen is, I believe, out with a thigh injury or a groin, hamstring.
Yeah.
He still has weapons, though. He still has Dalvin Cook, and he still has Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. But I think the thing that should help the Washington Redskins is their defensive line. Like, I'm going to say this. I know how Kirk Cousins gets under pressure, and they're going to get to him tonight.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's going to be I don't know. This could be like the roller coaster that they're on. You know, this might be the downfall, even though they're in Minnesota, I believe. So
and it's gonna be a test for him. It's not really a primetime game because I don't think a lot of people watch Thursday Night Football. I'd have to look at the ratings.
It's on Amazon. Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, it's not a Monday night or a Sunday night game, but we'll see how he does in primetime.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys want to pick a team on this one?
Oh, wow.
I'll go ahead and take the Vikings.
Yeah, I'll take the
I'll
Vikings.
take Vikings
also.
too. I think I think Dalvin Cook will have a tough time against that D line,
Yep.
but I think they got the weapons to pull it out.
And I think just because the Redskins are not fully wet during this whole entire game, like we got destroyed by your 49ers last week, I think they'll be fine. Terry McLaurin, pay attention.
Yeah, they drafted him one spot after the Packers draft pick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you still have Preston Smith. I wanted to bring this up to you guys because, I mean, this might affect the Kansas City Chiefs' upcoming game. But what do you guys think on the Mahomes injury?
Well, have you heard that he's back at practice?
That's
Yeah.
I
He's
think that's just a smoke screen. I think that's just so the Packers would have to prepare for him maybe a little bit. But I don't think he's going to play. That injury looked bad.
I just don't want this to be like another RG3 situation.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
They don't rush it. They shouldn't rush it back. I mean, his timeline to come back is 3 to 5 weeks, and they're already saying, "Oh, like he's making improvements, maybe
That
3
doesn't make
weeks."
sense.
But it's like I don't want to risk it, especially with a guy like Mahomes. Like he's
That
their whole
talented.
team.
Yeah. Definitely. I would agree with him being the whole team. I mean, he ignites the whole offense and brings the defense back on the field anytime he can.
Mhm.
Speeds it up.
And Matt Moore's an all right quarterback, especially for a backup. He got the win last week, and I'm actually picking the Chiefs to beat the Packers this week.
Mm.
I just have a
What?
feeling.
What?
That shouldn't
Hear
have
that,
come out of your
Kurt?
mouth.
It's an Arrowhead, so I just got a feeling that the Packers are gonna lose, even after Aaron Rodgers came off that game with the perfect passer rating and 6 total touchdowns.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is the Raiders, but still, I think you guys are still up there in the rankings. You guys
Yeah.
actually fell down on my ranking by 1, but, you know.
After a win, really?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get to that a little bit
but
later.
It's a shame because I really wanted to see Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. You know, the old best quarterback in the league versus the new best quarterback in the league.
And they're in the same commercials together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're buddies.
Yeah.
I was
They are.
looking forward to watching that so much, and I'm still gonna watch it because I am a Packer fan, but it won't have the same effect.
Yeah.
Well, I can see the Packers winning if they're able to get is it Aaron Jones, the running back?
Aaron
If
Jones.
he's able to get rolling and have a dominant game and they're able to control the clock,
I could
which
see
is
that.
exactly how you need to beat the Chiefs, even if Patrick Mahomes is out.
And will Devontae
Um,
Adams be back?
I don't think so. I think he's gonna miss a month. It's gonna
Oh,
be his third week
man.
That's
again.
rough.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
that
trade for him.
turf toe is
Oh,
something
is
that
that
keeps
what's
you out.
getting him?
Yeah, that
Chris
keeps you out.
Thompson's out with that too. Jeez.
Yeah, like it doesn't sound serious because it sounds kind of funny, turf toe, but that keeps you out a while.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it completely affects the way you're able to plan.
Yeah, especially
Mhm.
how he plays, where his routes are precise. His release off the line of scrimmage is one of the best in the league, if not the best.
Yeah.
That's gonna keep him sidelined at least another week, maybe 2.
Yeah, he's not a speed guy really. I mean, he's more of like a precise route runner.
He runs like a 4.5.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast.
Well, you know who else is fast or might be losing his gas? Emmanuel Sanders, and he just got traded.
How do you feel about that, Jason?
I thought the trade was a pretty even trade. We didn't give up too much. I mean, on paper it looks like we gave up a lot, a 3rd and a 4th rounder, but we did get a 5th rounder back, and the 4th and 5th, I mean, the gap between those 2 picks is maybe 10 picks, which isn't that big of a difference when it comes down to it, but I think he'll be a good addition to our team. We're kind of missing I mean, we do have speed, but he's a consistent veteran guy that we know we can rely on to catch passes, red zone, 3rd down. I mean, he's a good target to have.
Yeah, he's always been one of my favorite wide receivers in the league. You know, everyone forgets that he was hand in hand with Antonio Brown back in the day.
Yeah.
So he should be a good addition, and I think that just makes your guys' offense a little bit more scary.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the type of player you wanted Pettis to be too.
Mm-hmm. Or Goodwin,
and he still
too.
might be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said he's lost a step or 2, but I think he still has that veteran savvy.
Yeah, in the slot, you don't need that much speed. Like, look at Wes Welker. You just need to change of direction, and you need to know where to be when it's a zone defense. Just which pocket to be in where the defenders aren't, and the quarterback will find you.
Yeah, speaking of Wes Welker, he's one of our coaches, actually.
Really?
Our receiver coach, yeah.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Here?
Yeah, for the Niners, yeah.
Oh, I
Oh, no,
no,
not for Mount Sac, no, for the Niners, yeah.
There'd be a lot of media over here.
That'd be crazy.
I was going to say.
Just the receiver coach
But
here.
But you do see that a lot, you know, with, NFL players, you know, having to join, like, you know, the staff of any team that they can get on. And he did play. No, he played for the Broncos last,
Broncos,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
And he was with the Dolphins before being with the Patriots.
Yep.
Yeah, he was not a high draft pick.
No, he wasn't. But I mean, that's where he gets started. Like, that's where everyone gets like the stereotype of a wide receiver from New England.
Yeah.
Now you got Edelman and
Short
Amendola.
white guy.
Amendola.
Yeah, Amendola was a guy.
Yeah. So
Hogan.
yeah,
Okay.
I forgot about him. But now he's on the Bills. I don't remember
Bills,
his name.
yeah.
That sounds right. I'm not sure.
I just threw that
He's
one
been
out
like
there.
a non-factor. No one knows about him.
Not showing up on anybody's waiver wire.
And speaking of trades, how about that Patriots trade for Mohamed Sanu?
What do you think about that, Alex?
I think that they did it knowing that they were going to put Josh Gordon on IR.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, totally. Who do you guys think picks up Josh Gordon? Because he's on non-injury related IR.
The Redskins are good at picking up. I'm not just saying that because that's my team, but they're good at picking up like players that are either in trouble or just injured that they can hold on to. What do we have to lose?
True.
You know, and that, to add Josh Gordon to a already scary Terry McLaurin to be exact. Like, we expected Paul Richardson to show up. I don't know if you guys remember who Paul Richardson is.
I do.
Yeah, wide receiver for Colorado in college.
Seattle Seahawks too. He
Yeah.
played for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, he
That's
played
where
for Seahawks.
he really came out in the league, and we got him, and we hoped that he would be the number one guy with Trey Quinn's in the slot, and now Scary Terry just emerging. I could see the Redskins definitely going in for this one.
Also, just to interject, Hogan is on the Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
Ah.
Panthers.
That was my second choice.
I think actually a good landing spot for Josh Gordon would be the Ravens. I think they're missing a big number one guy right now. I mean, they have good speed on the edge, but I mean,
Hollywood Brown.
yeah, Hollywood Brown's a good guy, but I think he'll be a good number one for them.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. That could be a really good addition too. I like that. That's a good pick.
Yeah, a lot of teams could use him. I'm just thinking.
Maybe the Raiders.
Maybe the Raiders, maybe
Yeah.
the Bengals if they're going to get rid of
Bengals.
A.J. Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the Seahawks. They always add wide receiver talent to try to help boost Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I even heard someone mention the Cowboys and try to have Josh Gordon and Amari Cooper play one-on-one to dictate what the safeties do on defense.
Maybe, but
so
they have Michael
Nasty.
Gallup.
And
he's a
Cobb.
speed threat.
But is
Yeah.
Cobb injured again?
He
thought
played
so.
this past week.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so he should be fine.
But I'd like him on the Raiders, especially like knowing that team. They take pretty much anyone that'll help them win. John Gruden's I feel still a good coach, and he would know how to handle him. Like he didn't really take any nonsense from Antonio Brown. They just cut him when he was acting ridiculous, and like Al Davis said, just win, baby.
Yeah. Well, going back to Sanu real quick,
Mm-hmm.
I think this addition for the Patriots to pick him up is really brilliant because for me, like, just look at the Falcons right now. They do not have it going on. They have the number one receiver in the league, in my opinion, in Julio Jones. And you've got Sanu coming to the Patriots. This will, open it up for Sanu. Like Sanu will probably get a lot more opportunities. And he's actually a playmaker. He can throw the ball really far. So, Bill Belichick's not really fancy with his play calling, but it could just get a little bit fancy in New England.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good athlete, and actually, N'Keal Harry should be coming back too. Their rookie that they drafted this
From
year.
Arizona State.
Yeah.
He's a big target.
He
So,
is.
Very
Yeah.
physical.
So I think that'll be a much improved receiving core.
Yeah, that's going to be an amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, I liked him coming out of college.
He was not like a number one in the preseason, right? Like, I think I saw something.
Among wide receivers, or
Yeah, like to
Yeah.
look at, yeah.
I think he was actually number 1 too, wasn't
Well,
he?
that's-
Like the
that's also
number-
what I
literally
mean,
number
too.
one. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
literally
Jersey
number one.
number.
Yeah.
But like the one coming out of the draft for the Patriots
Yeah.
too. So
I think this trade just shows how much the value of a wide receiver in the NFL has gone up.
Mhm.
Do you remember around this time last year when the Cowboys traded for Amari Cooper,
Oh yeah.
and everyone told us we overspent sending one first rounder?
Mm-hmm.
Mohamed Sanu was the third best, fourth best at worst wide receiver on the Falcons, and they sent over 1 second rounder.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, and then the trades. I mean, Marcus Peters, Jalen Ramsey, all these top premier positions are getting traded for top draft picks like never before.
Yeah. And still on the verge of getting possibly traded is Trent Williams. I still don't know what's going on over there, but I know for a fact the Cleveland Browns, everyone's saying is the Cleveland Browns are super interested, but the Redskins are just holding on. But that's it about trades. I mean, the trade deadline is the 29th. If I can remind everybody, keep an eye out for some major trades. We still see some players possibly getting traded.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll see if the rich get richer.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go to like our 2 picks of the week?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go for it.
You guys know yours already?
I know. I already mentioned one of mine. It
Okay.
was Packers and Chiefs. I just feel like the Packers are going to drop this game. I like to say, to go 13-3, you need to lose 3 games, and this is one of the 3 that the Packers are going to lose.
Okay.
And the other one, I picked today that the Vikings would beat the Redskins.
Okay. Yeah, you did. That's a good pick. I went with Denver at Indianapolis. I think from last week, I can say that I have been impressed by the Indianapolis Colts, and they are on a good stride to show me that they could possibly be one of the best teams, if not like a wild card team to show up in the playoffs and upset people with their defense and their offense that is keeping it together. So I've got the Indianapolis Colts beating the Denver Broncos in Indy. And then I am going to take Seattle at Atlanta and Seattle to win.
Nice. I'm gonna take Texans and Raiders. I think that'll actually be a surprise matchup for a hot Texans team right now. But I think overall the Texans are actually gonna take it. Actually, recently the Raiders traded cornerback Garyon Conley for, I think, was it a 3rd round pick to the Texans, and we'll see how that
After
plays
he got
out.
abused by an undrafted receiver from the Packers.
Yeah, he
Yikes.
has 1st round talent. He just hasn't really shown it yet. And then I'm also gonna take Browns and Patriots. I think that'll be a fun game to see. I mean, Jarvis Landry already came out with a comment saying we're not too worried about the Patriots. I think we can have a good game, but I think Patriots are gonna go 8-0.
Surprisingly, Odell's opening up his mouth a lot about Tom Brady.
That's weird, yeah.
There's like he's just like flexing, or not flexing on him, but just saying like he's the GOAT. He's
Yeah.
the GOAT.
I would pick the Patriots to win. That's who I think is gonna win, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns
Pull one
bring
out.
it and pull one out against the Patriots.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
that kind of team that their highs are super high, and then
Mhm.
their lows are very down low.
That would
Yeah.
be really interesting if
It's
they
gonna be
put
a
up a
fun
good
game.
fight. Yeah.
I mean,
I see this being the trap game for the Patriots. I think the Browns might pull off this upset.
Ooh.
Just the Browns have not looked good at all. They're down. They're bound to have a decent performance at some point, and it just takes one off day by any of the Patriots players for that to happen. My other upset I'm going to go with is going to be. Actually, no, you took my upset because I was going to go with the Panthers bringing the San Francisco 49ers their first
Ooh.
loss this week. But I'll go ahead and go with the London game. The LA Rams are hosting, even though it's in London. They're hosting the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think the Bengals are going to remain winless, and LA is going to move up in their rankings.
They'll finally get their first win. I mean, in a while.
Also,
in
do you
London.
guys know the only team that has not played in London?
what team?
Dallas Cowboys?
The Green Bay Packers.
Why is
That's
that?
the only team that hasn't
I
played
believe
yet.
that's
There?
the only team. They are not willing to give up a home game.
Yeah, it's too much of a
Really?
community-based like stadium,
Yeah, and
right?
that's like a big part of the community.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. I've been to Green Bay. The only thing there is breweries and the Green Bay Packers.
And
cheese.
queso.
Yeah,
Cheese.
cheese.
Yeah, go to Brett Favre Steakhouse.
Oh man, it sucks that I gave up cheese. I gave up all dairy.
Ah, that does suck. Well, you could go.
I can at least get a cheese head and wear it on my hat, on my head.
I have one. That's I don't know how many years old. It's really dirty. I wouldn't wear it.
I had a Viking helmet that was straight from like the actual Viking store. My dad got me one time. I have
pretty
no
cool.
idea where that went. I
Wear it
actually kept the what?
So you can wear it tonight when you're watching the
No,
game.
I'm not. I actually kept the Adrian Peterson business card from the store longer than I kept the actual helmet. So are we all done with the NFL? Or were there any?
Do you want to go over your power rankings, top
yeah.
5,
Yep.
Sure.
like we do every week?
Yes. Lastly, who wants to go first?
You want to go first, Shane?
Yeah, I'll start off. So with my number 5 team, my rankings haven't changed too much, but with the recent Mahomes injury, the Chiefs have actually slid out of my top 5 and into the 5th spot for me is the Ravens. I think they've been playing strong. They had a big win against the Seahawks. I mean, that rushing attack with Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards, and Mark Ingram. I mean,
Lamar Jackson is electrifying.
he's tough, man. He's something else. And for my number 4 pick, I have the Packers. I mean, they've been playing good. Rodgers with that huge game is a big confidence boost for sure. I mean, that defense is staying like really good as they've been before. I think they'll be a good team going forward. My number 3 team is the Saints. Do you guys know if Drew Brees is coming back this week? I heard that he's supposed to.
He's calling it by like
I think
by
it's
game
day
time.
by day.
Yeah, it's day by day. Like he just really wants to feel how his thumb is. Like
Mhm.
trust me, I have him on my fantasy team, and I'm looking forward
I
to.
think he'll be back next week, if not the week after.
I
Yeah.
think they should just stay with the hot hand right now, just for one more game, just to see how it is. I mean, Bridgewater is playing really, really good and really solid. He seems to be clicking with a lot of the receivers. So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like it's always good to, especially with a Hall of Famer like him, like to just be safe with it.
yeah, because we know how he's gonna play. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs, so you don't need to play them carelessly.
Yeah.
True, yeah. So for my number 2 team, I'm going Niners. I mean, they've played really good. They had a tough game in the mud against the Redskins. They showed that they have grit. They still have swagger too. So I mean, we'll see how they can play going forward. I mean, that Carolina game is going to be huge for them. I mean, we'll see how that plays out. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then my number 1 team still, Patriots, man. Can't go against old Tom Brady. He's still a GOAT. And plus with Sanu, I mean, they just got even better. So yeah, pretty much the same. My top 3 is the same as last week. So
Yeah. Okay, I'll go next. That's a good list. My list is number 5, the Minnesota Vikings.
wow.
Yeah, they're playing really well. Kirk Cousins, he's playing like how they thought he would play when they gave him that contract. Dalvin Cook is playing like he's playing when they thought he would play when they drafted him. And obviously you have Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, maybe the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. And they're just one game behind the Packers in the NFC North. But speaking of the Packers, they're who I have 4th after that big game against the Raiders. Aaron Rodgers with the perfect passer rating. Their defense is giving up a lot of yards, but they're just not breaking. They had that goal line stand and where Derek Carr fumbled in the end zone. And I hope Aaron Rodgers just keeps playing well and Aaron Jones keeps running the ball well. And number 3, I have the Patriots. It's pretty much the same story. They're playing bad teams, but they're looking good when they beat them. So I'll just move on to the number 2, who is the 49ers, again with that win over the Redskins. Their defense is just dominant. They might be the best defense in the league now, better than the Bears defense, who has given up some points against different teams like the Raiders, who gave them that loss in London.
Oh, yeah.
And number 1 is the Saints. They keep winning without Drew Brees, so I can only imagine how they'll be with him. I mean, they have Michael Thomas, who is one of the top 5 receivers in the league, and as long as they keep playing like that, their defense is solid. When Drew Brees comes back, they'll be that much better. So that rounds out my top 5.
All right.
My top 5, I'm having number 5 be rounded out with Baltimore Ravens. They are, if they get in the playoffs, they are what, as I would say, John Harbaugh is the Bill Belichick. John Harbaugh is the Bill Belichick whisper. He just anytime they meet in the playoffs, he's got Bill Belichick's number, and Lamar Jackson, he's an offensive weapon. They make the joke that he runs pretty good for a quarterback, or he throws pretty good for a running back. The dude could play both positions in this league. Like, there's no doubt about it. And just the fact that he is that dual threat. You know, it's like how Michael Vick. It's a whole nother element the defense has to prepare for, and that will always make the Ravens that much harder to prepare for. Number 4, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Green Bay Packers.
Finally.
Finally made it.
Watch, I'm gonna put them in, and then they're gonna lose this week because every time I didn't put them in, they won.
He had to get a couple of games away.
So they lose.
He had to get a couple games away from the Cowboy game.
I mean, they're 6-1. The record speaks for themselves.
Yeah.
Their running game, it's one of the best. Aaron Rodgers, he showed last week that he can still pull the rabbit out of the top hat and be a magician on the field. Number 3, I'm going to go ahead and go with the San Francisco 49ers. My opinion really hasn't changed on them much from last week. They played in a mud bowl, and it's always really hard to be able to judge a team based on a really rainy mud bowl day like that.
Yeah, we should never judge a team, guys. Never judge a team.
I mean, the Redskins kept it close, so that just shows how unrealistic playing in mud is.
And both teams missed field goals. So.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Man, that's what the mud will do, though. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and go with the New England Patriots. The top 3 is going to stay the same. New England's number 2. Number 1, I have the Saints. Main reason for the Saints being number 1, Teddy Bridgewater, he's the backup. I mean, he's shown that he should be a starter, and he's definitely going to get paid this next offseason to be a starter for a team. But the job he has done, that team has not missed a beat all season long. And I think they're on a revenge tour after getting bounced out of the playoffs by the referees 2 years in a row. I don't think anything's going to stop them, especially when Drew Brees comes back.
And I just want to hand it to Teddy Bridgewater. This is a guy that almost lost a leg in practice. And to come back from that and lead his team to the number 2 seed in the NFC, because they did lose one. That's just a great accomplishment. And no matter what he does from here on out, he's got a respect of most NFL players.
Well, in my opinion, he just really has to have a good line to protect him. I've always believed in him since his college days and Minnesota days, too. It's just you really have to, in the NFL, to survive as a quarterback, you really need a good offensive line, period. My top 5 power rankings, we have at 5, we have the Baltimore Ravens. After beating Seattle, you've got a matchup against a possible MVP in Russell Wilson, but now you even see Lamar being a possible choice for MVP as well. I think with that run game, I think a lot of defenses are scared, especially because you got Mark Ingram on one side, and then Lamar can just take off on his own. Hollywood Brown should be returning pretty soon from injury, so that should add another element to
I think they're going to rush for the most yards in NFL history.
Really?
Yeah, they're on pace.
That's a good one. Well, hopefully they get it. I think that their team is the team to do it, if anything. Yeah. Well, let's hope that the Carolina Panthers don't do something as well. Is Christian McCaffrey in that conversation as well?
He is, but
for single season as a player.
As a team.
Okay, team total.
Yeah, Baltimore's just for a team. Christian McCaffrey is single player.
Got it. At my number 4, I have the New Orleans Saints. I know you guys have the Saints a little bit higher than I do, but my reasoning is, you've got a backup quarterback who, if pulled for your Hall of Famer, and what if your Hall of Famer doesn't feel right still? I think that really shakes up the whole team. And I really haven't personally seen Mike Thomas show up for the amount of money he's been paid for this off season. I think that he could improve, but is Kamara going to play?
I think he's questionable still for the next game.
Because I know he missed last week's game, so that kind of scares me, hopefully they prevail.
Yeah, that's a huge part of their offense, too. So
Big time. At number 3, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I saw it with my own eyes. They beat the crap out of the Redskins with a rainy day that just was not playable, but they made it happen. I know Jimmy G had a little bit of a rough start at the beginning of the game, but as he started to get going, they put a good 3 field goals in front of the Redskins. At number 2, we have the New England Patriots. I know they still haven't beaten a team that we can say, that was a challenge. But when New England defense shows up like that
Oh
against
my
any
God.
team, and I feel like Tom Brady didn't even get any shine because they were so impressed with the defense. I got to put them up there. My top three are obviously, I think, this almost the same as last week. The Green Bay Packers at number one. They just keep showing me. I'm telling you, like, they might not. It may look easy against the Raiders that they just put a whooping on, but keep an eye on the Green Bay Packers. They're going to surprise a lot of people. I think honestly, they're my favorite to win the Super Bowl at this moment.
Yeah, they're in the
Wow.
toughest division in the NFL. I think only the Lions are one game behind 500.
Okay, yeah. And Chicago, I mean, they have that tendency because they play each other 2 times a year.
Mhm.
They have that tendency to probably just split the games, and that could even like kind of mess with them. Maybe not getting a home field advantage at first, but I think if they don't get a home field advantage in the playoffs, I still think that they surprise a lot of people.
But Trubisky needs to step up for the Bears, or else I don't think they'll make the playoffs, even
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
Big time.
defense as good as that one.
Mhm.
I don't know where I heard this from, but I was listening to I think like Andrew Siciliano on Red Zone,
Mhm.
and like I came back from like a different channel, and he said like something about Andy Dalton to the Bears, like he apologized to like maybe the people on Twitter or something for saying that. I was just like so confused. I'm like, why would that even come out of his mouth? What would you think about that? Lastly, on the NFL, if Andy Dalton went to the Bears,
I just think it'd be another Jay Cutler.
What would they be trading him for, though?
I don't know what exactly they would be
I
trading.
think you
him
could
for,
get him for a bargain, to be honest. Maybe like a
Probably.
6th-round pick.
and then maybe like see if he got some magic for the remaining of the season, and just have Trubisky rest, because I mean he's back, but he took a serious injury to the upper torso, right?
Mhm.
So-
I think Dalton would be, at least better than Trubisky. I mean, he can make more consistent throws. He's more of like the pocket presence. I mean, Trubisky is more of an athlete, but Dalton is more just a consistent quarterback.
Well, that's something to look forward to. And before the trade deadline, I remind everybody the 29th of this month, so pay attention.
So let's just
Possible
pivot.
trade?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what do you guys think? Possible trade. Cam Newton for Von Miller.
That's it. I don't.
That
that's-
just left me
boy.
speechless.
For Von Miller,
Yeah. If you're
was-
Denver, you don't do it.
no
You
way.
don't do it.
Denver's not gonna do that because Von Miller's like their guy, their franchise.
No,
guy,
I've heard
really.
that he's on the trade block, or
But
they're
not for Cam
entertaining
Newton.
offers.
but not for
yeah.
Cam Newton.
No,
Maybe
they want to pick.
Cam Newton and probably like 2 or 3 picks, maybe.
Yeah, because Cam Newton's on the decline, and he's already at 30 years old.
But is
now.
Von
Yeah.
Miller on the decline also? He's over 30 years old.
They both are.
Oh man, didn't Von Miller beat the crap out of Cam Newton in the Super Bowl?
yeah.
That
Like-
fumble.
Like that's an interesting scenario. I honestly just want to see Cam leave Carolina. I want to
Yeah.
see him in another jersey for some odd reason, you know.
Yeah, I just want to see what he can do. I mean, I miss the old Cam. Super Cam was like so exciting. He made football like that much more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting that excitement from Lamar,
Yeah.
but it's different from I think Lamar's not as big as
Yeah,
Cam.
Cam
So
is just a superstar.
Yeah, he'll run over defensive linemen.
He's huge. He's a giant.
a cornerback for sure, he wouldn't give a crap. Just push him
Oh,
to the
no,
ground.
Just
yeah.
a fly.
He's
Yeah.
bigger than most linebackers. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see him in another. I don't know if I would want to see him in Denver. I maybe see him in an Atlanta Falcon jersey if Matt Ryan doesn't keep on producing. That would be my destination for
Him
him.
and Julio. Oh.
Whew.
Ooh.
Just them side by side. Like,
That'd be tough. Just on
Alabama
paper.
or Auburn to Alabama.
oh man.
Or Bears.
Bears, maybe.
That'd be a decent spot for him. They got good weapons too. There.
I'd be scared as a Packers fan if he went to the Bears.
Dude,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that actually is a good. What do you guys think about Tariq Cohen with all his? He got bullied.
But the thing is that he ran that DB over, and then the DB still talked.
Yeah.
But it was for a loss too. Like he lost like 5 yards on the play. I mean he still ran him over, but like I don't know
Yeah.
why they were dogging him like that.
If I was the DB, I'd be celebrating too. Like, what are
Yeah.
you celebrating for, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you just lost 5 yards.
like,
No,
you're-
Tariq Cohen wasn't celebrating at all. He was just walking back to the huddle.
And they were
I'm
just
sure
like
he was saying something though.
they
I
were
mean, come
like
on.
doing this, like he's like calling him short and stuff. I
I
was like,
don't
that's
know.
messed up.
I know.
But that's Tariq Cohen. I mean, obviously he's been on a decline for like productivity in fantasy football, in my opinion. But he's still got that magic. He's a returner and he's a running back, so he can be a dual threat. I just think that there's something going on with the Bears offensively. I mean, their defense is stacked. So
Yeah, their offense needs to get it going, or it's gonna be bad.
Yep. Is that it for football though?
Yeah, let's take a hard pivot. Do you want to go to the World Series or NBA?
World Series.
Let's touch on the World Series, I think. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can end on NBA.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? The Astros would be down 0-2.
I know. And with their two aces getting, Verlander got rocked, but Cole played all right. I mean, Nats came up with some clutch hitting. They just been known for that the whole season.
They just broke it open, exactly like against the Dodgers.
Exactly, yeah.
Ow.
Timely hitting, man.
That hurt a little bit.
And I just ripped off the scab right now.
But I got to give it to the Nationals. Without Bryce, they're prevailing. They're getting W's, and that's what matters. I see that the Nats have been 8-0 with the Navy jerseys. That's a thing.
Just keep wearing those, man.
Just
I
keep
know,
wearing
seriously.
those. And then that was actually my question to you guys. Is this a surprise to you?
Yes.
Huge surprise.
Huge surprise.
Yeah.
It was a surprise when they beat the Dodgers. Not that much of a surprise that they beat the Cardinals, but that they're up 2-0 against the Astros
Mhm.
with the pitching that the Astros have.
I hope they sweep.
That'd be nice.
I don't want the Astros to win.
If I was the Astros, I'd be kind of scared. You can get to Greinke. He's hittable.
Yeah.
Especially
he's
when-
dangerous.
Yeah, but even when he was on the Dodgers in the playoffs, he was hittable. So we'll see how it goes. Juan Soto's maybe the World Series MVP so
Dude,
far,
I
right?
love that guy.
Yeah, I like that guy a lot. He's a good hitter, and I mean the whole team is starting to hit.
Yeah. Kurt Suzuki had a home run yesterday.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
And they have no pressure because no one thought they would win. They're just going out there and
Having
playing
fun,
their
dude.
They're really the underdogs in this story. So I really do hope that they sweep. And there's a bunch of
They're playing
Redskins
at home.
fans that are just supporting them. The whole Redskins team made a whole video. They're just supporting Washington. I wish that my Washington team could get that far.
They gotta support someone in Washington.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, they
Capitals. They'll support the
have the
Capitals.
Capitals actually.
Wizards, no.
No, they're not supporting the Wizards.
Well, the WNBA team actually won the championship, I believe.
Mystics.
The Mystics, yeah.
True.
Elena Deladon.
Good teams in Washington, except for the Redskins. Let's move on. Just kidding. But this next coming game, you guys think the Astros have a chance of maybe winning one, or?
Well, the game's in Houston. It's gonna be this Friday.
Oh, it's in Houston?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
You
thought
can
it
catch
was.
it.
I thought it was at Washington.
No.
Mm-mm.
My bad.
Who's starting for the Nationals? Is it Corbin or
That I don't have.
I think it's
Who's starting?
Corbin.
or not?
It goes.
Anibal Sanchez or
I think it goes. What's his name? Max Scherzer.
Strasburg?
Strasburg, and then
Corbin.
Corbin. That's how it was against the Dodgers, at least.
The rotation.
I mean, those three might be stronger than the Houston's top three.
Scherzer
I
might
like-
be postseason MLB MVP.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I like
the way he's been
Scherzer a
pitching.
lot.
Scherzer's a beast, dude.
Honestly,
He's definitely shown up.
Yeah, no one thought that those two would outduel Verlander and Cole, but I mean, they really did.
Yeah. So that's just the update on the World Series. Shall we move on to the NBA?
the NBA. Did you guys see what Vice President Mike Pence said earlier today?
No.
So in a press conference, Mike Pence ripped Nike and the NBA for muzzling criticism of China in the wake of the Daryl Morey tweet over Hong Kong. This is according to Washington Post reporter David Nakamura. Pence said that NBA players like to criticize the U.S. but lose their voices when it comes to criticizing China. And he said that the league act like an owned subsidiary of Beijing. What do you guys think of that?
It's an interesting comment to make.
Mm-hmm. Pence just sold the NBA out.
I know, seriously. I mean, I hate this. I mean, I guess he's a little bit right on the situation. They did kind of keep quiet about the China situation, but it's different. It's that's not our country. It's hard to talk about. Beijing's problems don't directly affect our players. The players speak out in the U.S. because that's what they experience. This is the life they live in. This is our country. So it's harder to speak on another country's politics and have an opinion without getting criticized harshly.
I mean, there are players that are in the NBA that have come from the Chinese Basketball Association, and they don't speak out against it. It's a really touchy subject.
Yeah.
But I mean, I believe what Mike Pence is saying is that the NBA should take a stand for free speech.
Yeah.
And Adam Silver came out and said, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't do that." And then he came out and said, "Okay, maybe we should do that." And then the whole LeBron saying that,
just made it worse.
yeah, LeBron bringing it to national attention and saying that Daryl Morey should not have tweeted it at all. just made it worse, and now we have the vice president talking about it. I think it's only gonna get worse from here.
Yeah.
I got nothing to add except that Sanchez is pitching for the Nationals.
Oh, okay.
Well, like, did you guys hear what Shaq said?
No, what did Shaq say?
Well, I was trying to pull it up while you guys were talking. I was not fast enough, but actually I found the clip. I'll play it for you guys right here.
As American people, we do a lot of business in China, and they know and understand our values, and we understand their values. And one of our best values here in America is free speech. We're allowed to say what we want to say, and we're allowed to speak up about injustices, and that's just how it goes. And if people don't understand that, that's something that they have to deal with. But, I just thought it was unfortunate for, both parties, and then you got people speaking when they don't know what they're talking about. But, Daryl Morey was right. Whenever you see something wrong going on anywhere in the world, you should have the right to say that's not right, and that's what he did. And but again, when it comes to business, sometimes you have to tiptoe around things. But again, they understand our values, we understand our values, and here we have the right to speak, especially with the social media. We're gonna say whatever we want to say when we want to say it.
Leave it to Shaq to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Well put.
So I mean, like, that's why it's hard for me to like put in words. So like when I first heard Shaq say that, that's kind of like where I stand too. It's like I understand that China has their set of values, but there's nothing that I can personally do about that. But I mean, to speak on it, you just have to be wise and cautious, because what you say can affect a lot of things. So,
and it's not always black and white, which is why it's so difficult to speak on it.
Yeah. But that's a good topic.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into that for sure.
And it's definitely been a reoccurring story, and that's been being brought up a lot lately. So.
Did you guys see that fan at the Clippers game or Clippers-Lakers game? That kid, he was holding.
I screenshotted that.
Yeah,
actually.
It was like a dance cam. You know how they do dance cams at the game? He was pretending to dance and holding like a Clippers shirt, and when they put the camera on him, he dropped it and it said a Free Hong Kong shirt.
Oh, I saw that too. Yeah,
I heard about that. I didn't see
bold.
it.
The kid's pretty baller.
Yeah, that's sick. And they shut off the camera real quick.
Oh yeah, no, they switched to
nope.
another kid really quick.
I thought I had a screenshot of that. I could have read what it said, but yeah, it says something along those lines of. The cameraman, just his reaction was funny because it was just staggering. He didn't know what to do.
He's like, oh.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this NBA talk. I mean, yeah, there's the politics that is going on right now, but let's talk about the actual basketball that is finally starting. First off, what was your guys' expectations for the beginning of the season?
Exactly how it panned out. To be honest, that Laker Clipper game was like a playoff game. That atmosphere. But what was funny was when Kawhi made that speech, he got booed, and just how he talks, it's weird. It's like, hey, like exactly like that.
Well, I noticed the crowd was definitely different for both sides. I mean, it was a Clippers home game, and I'm putting quotation marks up for those who are listening, obviously. They showed the audio for when Kawhi took a free throw, and the audio when LeBron took a free throw. They got LeBron's MVP chance, and then Kawhi got boos.
Yeah.
I mean, what team do you guys go for? I know you're Golden State.
Yeah,
right?
I'm a Laker fan.
Okay, and then I'm a Clipper fan, a bandwagon Clipper fan. So I should announce to everyone so that no one's surprised.
I thought it was interesting to see that LA is still a Laker town and still dominated by the Lakers. I thought it was kind of messed up. I mean, Kawhi didn't do anything to these Lakers fans. I mean,
he did do something.
What did he
to
do?
These Lakers.
What?
He waited until the last minute so the Lakers couldn't go after
But he was
any
never
free
coming
agents.
to LA.
He wasn't gonna come.
He
to
was
the
coming.
Lakers.
If
No, he
Paul
wasn't.
George
No, he
didn't
was
go
not.
to the Clippers, he would have come to LA.
He
No.
recruited Paul George to the Clippers.
The
but if
reason
he
why
didn't go-
Kawhi would never go to the Lakers is because he knows that he wouldn't have to work as hard as he has to. He likes to be a hard worker. He doesn't
Yeah.
like to make it easy for himself.
And as quiet as he is, he still wants to be that guy. I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's been the guy. So I mean, with the LeBron and Anthony Davis, it's like he feels like he's getting shortchanged.
No, he would have gone to LA. I think there's been reports that say
No
that if
way,
it wasn't
man.
the Clippers, it was gonna be the Lakers.
Well, I'm glad he made the Clipper choice
Yeah.
because I'm such a big fan of, honestly, right now my favorite player in the NBA is Pat Beverly, and I just love how feisty he is. He's gonna be the first Clipper jersey that I buy, and I'm a big Kawhi fan, and I'm glad he came here. But he is not the reason why I'm a Clipper fan. Pat Beverly, since the playoffs of last year, has shown me what kind of basketball that I like to play, personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, with that being said, were you guys expecting the Lakers to win? But the opposite happened.
I mean, I was hoping the Lakers would win. I didn't expect them. Like, I'd pick them to win, but I didn't feel confident about it.
I would say, like, on paper, you look at the Lakers roster up and down, and they have stronger players. It's just about playing as a team. You can see the Clippers, they really meshed well together, and the Lakers looked out of sorts. Like, you need to rely on LeBron's playmaking ability to make all these other guys better, and that's how he kind of has been with all the teams he's played on. Cleveland, I mean, besides Miami, but Cleveland, he was their guy. He was the main focus. Without him, none of those other guys would have gotten opportunities. So I think Clippers' bench is a lot stronger. I mean, I was really surprised by Maurice Harkless. He's kind of been just like a journeyman. Wasn't that consistent with the Blazers, but he looks to be like a big part of that team.
And Lou Williams is in his, I believe, 15th year. He's showing out.
He played more minutes than Kawhi.
More minutes than Kawhi.
Yeah, he played 37 minutes. Kawhi played 32. And just to talk about Patrick Beverley, it doesn't show on the stat sheet. If you look at the stat sheet, it just looks like he had a very pedestrian game. But he did have 10 rebounds and 2 points, but he was a pest on defense. He was just everywhere
One block.
in the right positions. As soon as LeBron went in to drive the ball to the basket, there were like 3 people on him. And that just shows that the Clippers defense is going to be something this year.
Well, with their missing element, I think everyone is now expecting the Clippers to be a little bit more of a playoff team to dominate. They've still missing Paul George, so that just shows that without Paul George, that they're showing up. Montrezl Harrell, I'm maybe saying Montrezl Harrell. That guy was amazing towards the end of the game too.
Harrell.
He's got that feistiness too.
Mm-hmm. He's like their Draymond Green almost. I mean,
he reminds me of Kenneth Faried when he in his prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's all over the floor. I mean, he gets boards, he gets blocks. He's just a tough guy.
Played 38 minutes and he got 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. So I was really impressed with him, and I think going forward, if he can be like a staple coming from the bench, then we should be good.
And he hit a 3 too.
Yeah, and a big stat from LeBron. He had 5 turnovers in the game, and that's too much. I'm sure my friend Leroy, shout out to him, who's a Clipper fan, was very happy that Kawhi was the best player on that court with 30 points in 32 minutes.
Honestly, I felt like LeBron was a little hesitant too during the game. He looked like he was trying to get everyone else involved too much instead of like just going for his buckets. Like, I mean, obviously Danny Green had an amazing game and brought them back into the game.
Yeah, 28 points.
Yeah, that's actually the most points by a Laker in their first debut.
I think number 2 is Stu Lance.
There you go. Throwing that little fun fact out there.
Yeah.
Well, the final score was 112 to 102. Clippers showed everyone what they're made of and what they continue to be made of when they take on your team, the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, tonight.
I think it'll be a fun matchup, honestly. I'm excited to see how Curry and D'Lo play together.
I have a feeling they're gonna get bossed around.
Yeah, I mean, on defense, Beverly's going to be all over Curry all game. I'm worried about that for sure.
But Draymond Green could be the game changer in my opinion. If he puts up a good fight, then I think the Golden State Warriors will hold off and maybe even be up on the Clippers points wise until maybe they get to the fourth quarter.
I think the key factor is D'Angelo Russell. He has a habit of not shooting a good percentage from the field. I mean, he can make threes and difficult shots. He has good handle, but the field goal percentage somehow never is very high.
He's a guy where if he catches fire, I mean, he's going to take over the game. So hopefully he can get going early on in the game and continue that throughout the game. I think a big matchup is, like we were talking about, Montrezl Harrell and Draymond. They tend to go at it a lot, 2 big physical guys. I think that'll be an interesting matchup to look at too.
Yeah. Closing off on the NBA, was there any other topics with other teams? Any interesting, like things you guys want to talk about with the NBA?
I wanted to talk about Kyrie Irving, man. 50 points in his debut as a net. I mean, he balled out. He took over the game, and the unfortunate part is they still lost.
Yeah.
He could have had the game winner, correct?
Yeah, he had that crazy miss. It was a fadeaway jumper at the elbow.
Like I said earlier, it was like an NBA street move. He was like on the floor, flipped around, did a crossover, fadeaway jump shot. It just didn't go in. That's
interesting, man. With no KD, like no PG to start off for the Clippers. If KD, once he returns, this just means the Brooklyn Nets are scary.
Yeah. I also want to talk about the game where it was the Celtics versus the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Kemba Walker had a pretty disappointing game. He was 4 of 18, 12 points and 2 assists. That for someone that got paid that much and also to replace Kyrie Irving, that was pretty disappointing. Hopefully he can pick it up the rest of the season. Gordon Hayward scored 25 points. Maybe he's back to form like he played when he was in Utah.
I think Celtics watched those Nets highlights and were sorely missing Kyrie,
Kyrie.
right there. They're like, wow.
Well, they were playing in Philadelphia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always feel the Philadelphia crowd really comes out for like Joel Embiid, and I mean, obviously they don't have Jimmy Buckets anymore, but their crowd fairly shows up. Like for me, it's like the Seattle Seahawks crowd,
Yeah.
and they're always feisty in Philly. So
And their starting five all had double-digit scoring.
Yeah, it was very well rounded. Ben Simmons had 24 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. Joel Embiid 15 points, 13 rebounds for a double-double. Tobias Harris 15 points, 15 rebounds. He's just going to be consistent all the time, I think.
yeah,
And they're a tough matchup for almost any team just because they have so much size across the board. I mean, you look at their starting point guard is like 6'8", 6'9". They got a bunch of big bodies, and that's going to be tough in the playoffs. It's taxing on your body to go against these big guys.
And
Yeah.
the problem is going to be shooting. Do they have enough of it? I mean, Tobias Harris can shoot it. Al Horford has a pretty good jumper. We'll see if
Embiid
they
can
get
shoot it.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get it from other places.
And I think Josh Richardson was a sneaky pickup for them, too. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a baller.
17 points. That's a good. That's a pretty good game.
And actually, another game I wanted to touch on was your Mavericks, man.
yeah. I was looking for the game right now.
They showed out.
No, yeah. I mean, like I said, the Mavericks, keep an eye on the Mavericks. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, and they say that the Mavericks are actually going to be their disappointment. But for me, Porzingis and Luka Doncic, if you match those two up, it already seems like it's just on paper, it works.
Yeah, they combined for more than half of their team's points. They had 57 points combined. So, I mean, that's a dangerous little duo right there. And the pick and roll, too, I couldn't even imagine trying to defend that. There's so many options for them. Doncic can go to the hoop. He can step back, hit a three. Porzingis can roll. He can catch lobs. He can hit threes. I mean, that's a
Doncic
crazy
had 34 points, and Porzingis had 23. I mean, if Doncic is getting more rebounds than Porzingis, then I'm already impressed.
yeah.
You know, he had 9 rebounds, and Porzingis had 4. So just imagine that. They're going to be a team to watch out for, definitely.
Breaking news. The Patriots have traded defensive end Michael Bennett to the Cowboys for a 7th-round pick.
Wow.
That can go for a 6th-round pick in 2021.
Wow, Michael Bennett. That's actually a good pickup.
We'll see how much he has left.
He said he wasn't really happy with the Patriots and his role on the team, actually.
So that's why he probably asked for like a trade or
He's
something.
probably like, let me get out
Hey,
of
that's
here.
how you do it there. None of us heard that he was asking for a trade. That's how you do it. It's very silently.
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. Great for breaking news.
And not that much to give up for him.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
7th and a 6th.
Good for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And actually on NBA, I'm actually excited to talk. I'm actually excited going forward to look at the rookies. This rookie class is very strong. R.J. Barrett had 21 points in his debut. John Morant played a solid game with 14 points. I mean,
Memphis, right?
yeah, these guys are insane athletes, and it's crazy to see that young guys are 19, 20 years old coming into the NBA just absolutely already dominating. I mean, it's crazy to see this.
And just so everyone knows, like, I am a bandwagoner for the Clippers, but before I was a Clipper fan, I was a Knicks fan for about 7 to 6 years, and I am going to miss, like, just that experience of watching R.J. Barrett grow, and he's going to be I'm glad that I picked him up on my fantasy team because I feel like he's going to be a star-studded player. You know what I mean? Everyone talks about Zion. Well, he's injured for a while.
Yeah. So
Watch, now basically R.J. Barrett is the number one to look at right now.
him and Ja.
Yeah.
I think they'll be really exciting. I mean, they're the future of the NBA.
I tried getting Ja Morant on my team, but I couldn't. He got
He's gonna
snagged.
stuff the stat sheet this year. I mean, Memphis Grizzlies aren't really playing for much, so he can just get as many minutes as he wants.
Yeah. Was that it?
Another team
Emilio?
I want to talk about, a team who could get the 1 seed possibly in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets. They beat the Portland Trailblazers, and much like the Sixers, their starting lineup was pretty well rounded. 20 points, 19 points, 11 points, 8 points. Jokic with the 20 points and 13 rebounds. He had an impressive game. I saw the highlights. He just has that old man game, I feel.
Yeah, actually, and a lot of my friends back home know this, but I'm actually been a Denver Nuggets fan since like 5th grade. I actually have a couple jerseys, so it's Warriors 1 and then Denver Nuggets 2.
Let me guess, you have a Carmelo Anthony jersey?
No, Carmelo wasn't even my favorite player. It was J.R. Smith, and then I have a Ty Lawson jersey.
Ty
Okay,
Lawson.
A lot of
Ty
people
Lawson.
didn't really No, I mean, not a lot of people knew about Ty Lawson, but I loved him just seeing a little guy because I was growing up, I was short too, and I thought I'd try to model my game after Ty Lawson, just be quick and out handle everyone. I loved him.
He
But
replaced Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets are a solid team. They have really good pieces. Gary Harris and Jamal Murray are two very solid guards, and I think this year a surprise player for them will be Millsap. He came up last year. He was riddled with injuries. He had ankle injury, foot injury. I think if he's fully healthy, him and Jokic can be a problem in the West.
I believe he's maybe still injured right now, and he should be coming back pretty soon.
No, he played last game.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he had like 14 points.
Yeah, and they beat a really good Trailblazers team. Damian Lillard had 32 points, so
A
they're
much
no
improved
slouch.
team. Yeah, I mean, and they have Hassan Whiteside too. I don't think a lot of people knew
Yeah.
that. They picked up Whiteside this
Yeah,
this
19
summer.
rebounds he had.
Another game to look forward to?
I just have one crazy
Bucks,
stat line.
Rockets tonight?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. I was going to say I had one crazy stat line from yesterday.
What?
Andre Drummond, 32 points, 23 rebounds.
It's good to keep an eye on him too, right?
I love Drummond.
Yeah, he's a good player. What team is he on?
Pistons.
And they play tonight too.
Yeah.
Against the Hawks.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun little matchup.
But-
The-
Hawks are a fun team to watch. Trey Young, John Collins.
Yeah. Trey Young is actually didn't he win Rookie of the Year last year?
no, that was Doncic.
Yeah, they were pretty much almost tied for
Tied,
Rookie of the
yeah.
Year.
Yeah,
I think they should have got Rookie of the Year.
I think Doncic should have won because he
he did
was
prove
more.
it.
He did it from start to finish. It took Trey Young a little
But, I
bit to
mean,
get started.
Look at Trey Young's stats at the end of the season. That boy was averaging damn near 20 points a game and like 10 assists
True.
a game. I think he led all rookies in assists anyway. I mean, Trey Young is making a huge difference. Everyone was sleeping on him too. Like,
Yeah.
he's too small. He's this and that. I mean, he's a baller at the end of the day.
And people need to stop with that's too small. He's not even that small. He's like 6'1".
Yeah, I mean, too small for the NBA.
For the
is
NBA,
6'1".
yeah.
I mean, the people call Curry small and he's 6'3". So I mean,
Dang. That's not small at
yeah,
all.
it's pretty big.
He's not Muggsy Bogues, who's 5'3", playing in the NBA.
Small as Isaiah Thomas. He's like 5'8".
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
like one inch taller than him.
I'm 2 inches taller than that fool.
Well, also the Bucks and the Rockets play tonight on TNT at 5 p.m. This podcast will probably be uploaded by then, if not after.
Yeah.
But I want to see Russ and Harden.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
man.
I can't wait to see them play.
We'll see how it
Who
goes.
do you guys have that game?
Who are they playing?
The
Bucks
Bucks,
and Rockets.
Rockets. I have the Rockets
Rockets.
winning that one.
I'll take the Bucks. They know how to play together. Well, I guess Russell Westbrook and Harden know how to play together, but they haven't done it in a while.
I think Bledsoe is questionable for tonight, so I'm not sure. I mean, I have him and Giannis on my team, so I want to go with the Bucks, but I think Rockets might pull it out. I think
In Houston,
in Houston, that's gonna make a big difference. And
Yeah.
I think Harden and Russ have something to prove,
they do.
and they look like they were having a lot of fun this summer.
And they've played with each other in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shouldn't be anything different.
I
Yeah,
think-
their team is pretty much the same. I mean, Eric Gordon's still there. He's a consistent guy, and Capella. Can't sleep on Capella. Yeah, hopefully he has another improved year. I mean, last year he proved that he can be an inside presence, and with those two guys dishing him the rock, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and we'll see how the rest of the NBA season goes. And now that we're staying consistent with this podcast, we're going to be talking about a lot of NBA in the
Mhm.
upcoming season.
It's gonna be a fun year for sure.
It sure is. Lastly, I just wanted to shed light on the MLS playoffs real quick before we close it out. Just acknowledging that today the LAFC versus Galaxy,
Yeah, their Galaxy are playing the best player in the MLS, Carlos Vela.
and who just I believe asked for a loan to Barcelona.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how he can. If he wins it today, which I hope it doesn't happen because I'm a Galaxy fan, I could see maybe them giving a nod. But
That's very uncharacteristic, though, for Carlos Vela to ask for a loan to Barcelona. He wanted to be closer to his family, which is part of the reason he moved to LAFC. And soccer isn't even his favorite sport. He likes basketball more than soccer, and that's been the criticism from the Mexican media of Carlos Vela, is that he's not as passionate as he should be. Which
Yeah.
I mean, it's his life. He should do whatever he
exactly.
wants.
But I mean, we'll see how he holds up today.
Yeah.
They're a 1 seed against LA Galaxy, who's a 5 seed, who just knocked out Minnesota 2-1 in round 1. So if whoever wins this game is gonna see Seattle Sounders, the 2 seed, in the conference finals.
I think whoever wins this game will win the MLS Cup.
I hope so. I hope you're right, because I have LA Galaxy winning this game.
My pick for next year is the San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah,
I don't know anything
Hey,
about soccer.
they
sorry.
they did pretty good for sucking so much last season. Matias Almeida turned that team around.
Yeah, I'm not a big soccer guy. I just know that San Jose Earthquakes, that's my team no matter what. That's it.
It's all right. Going forward, we will educate you more on
Good.
soccer
I'm glad.
if we get to talk about soccer here on the pitch. Guys, you guys want to plug your socials so that everyone can hit you guys up?
You can follow me on Twitter at Tadeo_Eric. That's TADEO_ERIC.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JMoneyMilanes. That's the letter J Money. My last name Milanes, Milanes.
And I am on Instagram. I'll give you my Instagram until I figure out what's going on with my new Twitter. It is at the State of Nate. And this has been another episode of On the Pitch. Thanks, guys, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you very
For
much.
sure.